Hello, everybody, and welcome to our December Global Live Stamping with Anne and Christine. It looks like Paula is already on, which was
Hi,
interesting to watch,
Paula.
Paula, because you got on before we even clicked live, I hope. We were chit-chatting beforehand, and all of a sudden we realized what time it was. So here we
Let's
go.
hope
So
that that's the case.
I know, I know. So thanks, Paula, for being our number one viewer. So we'll just give it a few seconds to let other people see that we were on. I just got notified from my YouTube that we are live, so people should be getting on. And then we'll give introductions and we'll start a little chit chat. But we're
Oh,
excited.
hi, Miss Christine. How are
Hello,
you?
Anne. I am good. I am good. It's funny, I was telling you I had a delay on actually setting this up because I had on my table all the wrapping paper, all the tags, all the boxes. I hadn't cleaned off my table for getting ready for Christmas. So yeah, so hopefully I have everything I need because last time I had to run downstairs, remember?
I'll help you out. I've got a lot on my desk. I should be able to pass it to you.
Excellent. Excellent. All right, so it looks like a few more people on. If you are watching, please write in the comments that we know you're here and you can see us and you can hear us because, of course, we had technical difficulties before we got on. Oh, Valerie's here. Hello, Valerie. Valerie is my upline. So hello. I don't
Hello,
think we met
Valerie.
Valerie. Valerie, I got your Christmas card today. I loved it. All right. Okay, so let's see what else. Oh, here we have more people. Glenda, hi, Anne and Christine. Hopefully I'll have enough bars to last the morning. I hope so
So
too, Glenda.
Glenda's traveling back from South Australia today, so she's in the car.
Oh, well, thank you for your dedication. And Nancy's here. Excellent. Excellent. All
Hi,
right, so
Nancy.
I think it says we have 10 people watching, so that's great. Oh, here's more. Valerie says, nice to finally meet you, Anne. I've heard so much about you. Can't wait to see what you create. Me too.
Thank you,
Me too.
Valerie. The pressure's on now. I'll just go and remake something.
Oh, and Karen is on. Excellent. All right, so we have a couple of our regulars. I guess we'll have to come up with a name, right? Lady Gaga has, what does she call her fans? Monsters or something, and we'll have to come up with we'll have to come up with something for our fans. Our names. You
Oh
think
yeah.
of
Well,
something?
what if while we're waiting for a couple more, what if I do talk through the what's on my desk?
Yes, let me highlight. I have it on my desk too, but Anne's is better. So let's see.
Yeah. Well, it's the same, but I've just added a
Well,
couple more
you
things.
did something I didn't know you could do.
Radio. Now, this is our new glass mat that is available to anyone who signs up as a demonstrator in during celebration. So that's January, February, from January the 4th. And I'll just get rid of this. This is our featured product for today. But it comes with, I don't even know how big, it's 13 inches wide and 30, oh, it's square. Doesn't look like that.
Oh,
Oh, because
mine's
I've
not
got this
square.
edge bit. Yeah, because it's got this edge bit.
I think it's, let's see, 13, 14. I think it's 16 by 13 by 14. Oh, maybe I bet it's 14 by 17. That's a
Yeah,
more standard size.
I know. I love it. It's glass. It's good quality. There's lots of things you can do on it. I've only done a few things. So you can mix our inks on here, add water. Comes with this really super. I love this. It's like our chamois, but in a really thin version, as you can see. Feels like velvet when it's wet. Love it.
Hmm.
It cleans up everything. I could clean up everything I've written down here, which I'll tell you how I've done that in a second. But really love it, and it rinses out. I've still got a couple of stains on this, but I think I used it after I last rinsed it. I store it as I do with my chamois in a little half wood case, but don't store it in plastic because it will grow a little bit of mold. You need a little bit of air with it.
Yep, that's the
Fabulous.
same too with the
And this
chamois.
is a silicone mat. So it's basically sticks to the glass. The bit that I love about it, I can mix, I can put little spots in here, can mix ink in here as well, but I can actually put my ink pad on here and it doesn't move around once I put it in the corner. So I really like it. I've written down all my measurements for today here. Now, if I didn't need them, I would just clean them off with my either my chamois or this. I'm not sure, cleaning cloth they call it. I've used a whiteboard marker pen.
Oh,
So
I was going to
really
ask you.
simple to write some notes as you go. That's what I think. Who knows what this area was actually designed for.
Hmm.
So I'm pretty excited because demonstrators were allowed to purchase it in our pre-order. So Christine, I might hand back to you
So thank you,
so
because
that
I had no idea you could write on it, so that's very exciting. Somebody just, I think Kathleen just said that you can, if you get glue on it, you just let it dry and then you rub off. So that would
yes,
maybe eliminate the silic, the other mat that
I,
we use.
I do. The one thing I found last night is it did get a little smudgy. I use, as you know, liquid adhesive all the time, the multi-purpose one,
Yep,
and it did leave some little, I don't know, smudges on it.
residue. Hmm.
I just got some alcohol hand sanitizer and wiped it off, and it just shines like I've never seen anymore.
Oh, awesome. This is only the
So,
second time I've used mine, so I'm excited. Um, so there were two questions. Valerie had two questions. One, she's very curious how we set up this technology, which made me laugh because every time we do it, we mess up. This time it was my turn. And how can old, so current demonstrators
oh, is
purchase
that what you
these?
mean? She's not
Yeah,
having a go at my age.
no, no. So at least in the US, I don't know if the same in Australia, Stampin' Up! Has sold out of their allotment for current demonstrators, but you'll be able to purchase it in January when the offer goes live to new demonstrators. So if you sign up under either of us or someone else in January, you have the options of two different starter kits or joining kits, as I call them. So one is to get this whole package, and it's valued at $60. It's definitely worth that. And the other option of signing up is I think you get an extra 30 for US, you get an extra $30 of product. So you can choose. But to answer Valerie's question, for current demonstrators in January, you should be able to get it.
Anyway,
All right.
mine's different here in Australia. Is we can only it will only become available in March after they see how many supplies are left
Oh,
after
well,
the sign up
maybe
because they weren't sure whether this would be the preferred option or for us $50 extra
okay.
in products. So in I'm expecting around mid-March
Yeah.
that
All right. I
they
will
will
double
become
check that.
available if there's still some left.
I will double. I thought I read January, Valerie, but I will double check that. Um, cool. Okay. In the meantime, we got some more people. So hello, everyone who just joined us in while we were chatting.
Are
Um,
you going to show your project?
I'm actually no.
Oh,
I'm gonna make it first before I show it. How's that? Because I just thought maybe the steps would be interesting. All right. So you want me to go first, or do you want to go
yes,
first?
and
All right.
take me away was what I was going to say, but you know what I mean.
All right. Let me get the right one here. I almost booked for move. All right. So as Anne indicated, we are both using this new embossing folder that I forgot the name of already. And what's it called? Something florals.
It is the Layering Florals 3D
Thank you.
embossing
Layering.
folder.
I like how you write on yours. I need to do that. So it is found or will be found in this mini catalog. So for my people, everyone who's ordered from me in the last year, your catalog has already been mailed, and I know some people have already received them. So you can go to whatever page it is. I can't open it up online until January 4th. I can't show you the insides of the catalog. I can show you the front and back cover. And that's the same policy for Anne. But this is the folder, and it is a 3D, and it has very deep grooves in their flowers. So before I start, Anne doesn't know I'm going to do this. I wanted to share, I received a birthday card in the mail today from my dear friend Anne. My birthday's in 2 weeks, and this is the card she sent me, and she cut out and then glued down all of these tiny little flowers, and she even made nice edges so it goes all the way around. See it? And what I think is really cool, that the postage stamp is the same flower of the embossing folder. At least it looks like it. It doesn't really say what flowers they are. It almost looks like it could be a couple different things. It could be like a water lily. It could be a peony. It could be, what's the other one? Maybe a gardenia. I don't know. What do you think, Anne? What kind of flowers are they?
Well, I thought the one in the stamp was a lotus flower.
Oh, lotus.
Um,
That's what I was trying to think of. Yep. Oh, in the postage stamp. But doesn't it look? Oh, I just put it down.
it does.
It looks pretty similar. So, and I love how this has the edging is darker, so you could definitely play
I
with
can't
that.
believe the birthday one got there.
2 days after the Christmas.
I'm showing off now.
Yeah, I know, because I haven't even mailed your Christmas card. I don't think you're getting a Christmas card. You're gonna get a Valentine's Day card from me instead. I was a little behind this year. All right, so I'm using Pebble Path for a layer that I'm going to use with the embossing folder. So I'm going to cut it. Normally I would cut it 5¼ by 4, but I want it a little bit bigger. So let me see on there. I'm just going to go to, is it 5 5/8? No, 5 3/8. And I'll tell you why I want it a hair bigger in a second. So instead of 4, I'm just going to the 8th. So 4 1/8. Let me cut 2 just in case. I love Pebble Path. Do you like that color?
I do. I haven't used it much,
Oh, I love it.
but it's certainly probably my favorite out of the in colors for
In
this year.
colors. So what I'm doing is I'm just crumpling up my paper. A hardball. I'm going to make it nice and wrinkly, nice and soft. I really want to break down the fibers of the paper. Just take a second. And you'll see why in a moment. I think it has a cool effect. Have you ever crinkled your paper, Anne?
On purpose?
Yeah, on purpose. Like not to throw away, but to actually use in a project.
Mainly for when I do those flowers, which I'm
Yeah.
sitting on one of those flowers. I sent
Yeah.
you one of those
Yeah.
flowers.
Yep. And actually,
But I water mine, which I was interested that you didn't do that.
Oh, no, I've never. Does it make it easier?
Yeah, it breaks
Oh.
down the fibers a little, probably a
Right.
bit easier.
I'll try that again. All right. So you can kind of see now how soft this paper is compared to that paper.
So Sharon from Australia said, I did this on one of my cards this week.
Oh, funny. Okay.
Now, because you haven't said this, but now I'm feeling it already, is you said this is like your version of a Shelley card. So for those that
said that
don't
earlier.
know,
Yeah.
Shelley is the founder of Stamping Up. So she does a lot of, I mean, it's plain, but it's fancy, it's layered, it's always textured.
Vintage, shabby chic is kind of how I would describe it. All right, so I'm loving my mat because this is not moving around.
Isn't that moving on your glass mat?
It was moving, like bouncing, but it's stuck.
Oh, I thought I'd have to move
gripped.
my glass mat. So
no. All right, so
that's good to know.
I lost my folder. Okay, I'm gonna put my wrinkly paper in my folder. And I just want to make sure it's kind of flat as I put it in there. All right, so I like to put the folded edge in first.
So why do you do that?
Well, in the past.
Dear Dorothy Dix, Why do you do that?
In the past, maybe I have not done that, and my machine would crank through, and this has ripped open, like separated, because I guess it would go through at different lengths. I don't know. I've broken them. So if I
Yep.
can, I've tried to put the. That was before
I
the three. That was before they had 3D. That was
yeah.
the other ones.
I always put mine through like that because I was always told that it means that the pressure on the embossing folder starts on the fold and then the
Right,
pressure gets to the edge and therefore it can open up to release
right,
that pressure.
yeah.
Whereas if you go the other way, you end up with
You
all the pressure on the
and then
actual fold.
it would buckle. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So I just put the plain oops, the top. Just the plain piece. Just I want you to see the difference between the wrinkled version and the smooth version. So when we were coming up with a project, Anne wanted to use this folder, and she said, let's come up with different techniques. And I have to tell you, I stressed because, well, one, we tend to do the same thing unknowingly. And two, I think there's only so many techniques you can do with an embossing folder. All right, so
I'm up to
hopefully,
10 now.
oh my goodness. So this one is just the plain smooth. Isn't it beautiful? Like you get
It is.
so much texture in there. It's beautiful. So this one next to it is the wrinkly one, and it's not quite as crisp, and that's on purpose. I wanted it more soft and more in the background, and you can kind of see with the wrinkles and stuff. Hopefully you can. All right. So I have that. And now I'm going to, I think I'm going to splatter. This is what Shelly does all the time too. We're going to splatter. So I used my Pretty
Now,
Peacock. Mm-hmm.
Becky has asked, and I
Oops.
can't actually read this because I've got a little logo on my laptop, but it says, what is the slit at the top of the folder for? And I'm not sure what she's talking about, assuming that I
Slit.
can read it.
You did read it, the slit. So do you mean this, Becky? This, I don't know what you mean by a slit. If you could type more, because I'm not sure. Um, and I think I just dropped some of my pieces. Oh, they went right into my trash bin. How was that? Okay. All right. So as we figure it out, that I will do dots. So there are different way to do dots, and some of them I tried to remember and I couldn't. So what I came up with is I just have this container, and it's just a little bit of water and several drops of my re-inker. And then I have, make a mess, a water painter. So I'm just gonna put it in. So it's kind of like thick because it's a lot of re-inker with just a little water. And I'm just gonna tap, oh, that was too much. Darn it, that was too much. Tap. And so make sure like there's nothing around because you'll get taps. Like sometimes my computer's right in front of me and that gets inked. So I'm gonna cover that, so don't worry about that. So see how I have a little splatter? And we're gonna let that dry. And the next thing, my next piece, I actually already embossed it with the wood grain. And it's just a hair smaller than this one because it's gonna go underneath. So what I'm gonna do is this is, you can use a bamboo stick skewer. This is actually from a honey stick. I'm going to actually first, when Anne was talking about the flowers, this is what I presume she did. Once you do all that crinkling and break down the fibers, you can actually separate your paper. So I could peel it up, the whole thing apart into two, but I don't want to peel the whole thing. I just want to peel the two corners.
I love this. Now, while you're doing that, Becky has said that some of her folders has a slit on the folded side, the side that you put in first. She's then gone back, and I think I don't know of any that do that, but it's probably just to release some of that pressure to stop it
Could be.
ripping.
If the slit was there on purpose, then I would say yes. If you caused the slit, which is what I've done, it just kind of broke in half. So if that's the case, I've taken like packing tape and just put it on half and then folded it over just to kind of keep it together. But if the slit was there intentionally, it must be a non-Stampin' Up folder because I don't think Stampin' Up has slits. And
No,
so
I've never seen one.
but they could be designed that way, but that would be my guess. All right, so I'm just
Idea.
going to take my skewer and just roll it. So I have a little curl.
Love that.
And I'm going
Never
to
done
curl the
that.
back.
That is such a Shelley thing.
Yeah.
Now,
So I have
someone's
two little
asked for the
curls.
size of the glass board. So it
think
is
it's
17 by 14 inches or 43.2 by 35.6 centimeters. Heavy duty, safety tempered glass, raised non-slip rubber feet, featured a white background with a grid, heat and scratch resistant, so you can actually do heat embossing on it. Wipes clean with water or alcohol. Not wasting alcohol on it.
So now I just turned it over and I'm putting glue, but not on the rounded parts because I want that to kind of be up. So, oh shoot, I meant to check this because this might be a little bit big. So I cut this a hair smaller, but because when you put this through the embossing folder and it has all that depth and texture, it actually shrinks your paper a little bit. So this one I made a little smaller, but it wasn't quite small enough. And oh, this is what happened to before. Okay, I cut in the middle. This morning when I was making it, I cut from here and it just made a mess. So it should be good. Because I want you to be able to see just the two corners, but that's it. So I'm gonna go this right on top. And if you see a little bit of white, I can just kind of smooth it out a little bit. So basically, I just want you to see those two corners. So I just trimmed it a little bit. Okay. Like that. Okay. And I may go back and re-roll these when we're done. We'll see. And obviously, if you put it through the mail, they are going to get crushed. And that's okay. All right, so I'm going to use my linen thread, which I also think is a Shelley thing, although I love linen thread. And I'm going to wrap it around 3 times and then tie a knot.
Now, while you're tying that bow, Nancy has asked, will customers be able to buy it in the future or is it just for demonstrators? At this stage, it's just for demonstrators.
Yes.
But I think we are hoping that customers will be able to buy it and maybe that's what will be available in March. But it will, I think, be a limited,
yes,
like an online exclusive, only available whilst they have stock.
At least for now, unless they change that, yes. But it is a perk for signing up.
Yep.
All right. So I'm using my card bases crumb cake, and I just cut it the long way. So it still measures the same, the 5.5 by 4 1/4, but I just cut it in the middle the long way. And so this is now going to go on top of that. All right. You really kind of have to press it down because there's so much texture. We have the wood grain underneath here, and then I have the pretty flowers. Hopefully you can see. If I take this off, you might see my light there. That's why I have the cardboard on there. All right, so I'm going to leave that there, and I'll do a little stamping, although I actually already have it cut out, but I will show you some new products. So this is a stamp set that is also in the upcoming mini catalog. and it's actually a bundle. Here we go, called Thoughtful Expressions. I love hummingbirds. Love them. I have them at my house and got to see them. Love them, love them. And so this is a beautiful bird. Plus the sentiments are really nice. And look at this die set. Look at all the nested shapes you get. So you get the cutout for the hummingbird, you get some flowers, and you get tons. So that's called Thoughtful Expressions. So
Love that. I hadn't even seen it. I obviously skimmed over it.
Yeah, I love it. So I'm using the Memento ink because I'm going to use blends markers. And I'm going to color, but I do have one already cut out, but I'm going to color just to show you the colors I use. So hummingbirds come in different colors depending on where you live. So my hummingbirds, which are the ruby-throated hummingbirds, are primarily green. The male is a ruby-throated hummingbird and will have a red throat and with a really dark green body, maybe a little white on the belly. And the female, which is what I'm going to color, is pretty much green. So I'm going to do kind of different shades of green. So this is grainy apple green, which the tip is horrible. I need to replace it, but I'm only doing a little bit on the light, so it's okay. This one is on its last legs. All right, so I'm just going to do light on the edges there. And then this is the darker grainy apple green. So sometimes I start with the dark color, and sometimes I start with the light color. So this one I'm starting with the lighter. So for a little bit, till I get to the end, it's not going to look all that great. But it will look better as I build. So now I'm going to use Old Olive. So I'm just kind of using the lines of the artistry in there. So I'm just, right now I'm just going over the dark lines, leaving a little bit of the lighter. And so I'll just put a little bit of the dark olive in there. And then I'm going to use some pretty peacock, which is really not in the actual hummingbirds. Ours is actually a little bit more muted color than this, but this will just kind of bring out some texture and some color. Put on the head. And I'll just do a tiny bit of the dark. And then sometimes you can go back over the whole thing with the lightest color to kind of blend it all together. But mine is on its last legs, I'm not going to do it too much. So then you let it dry a little bit and then you cut it out. And so I already have, oh shoot, I keep dropping things, Anne. So I have already colored two of them. And so they're pretty close.
They look amazing.
Aren't they beautiful? So really, that was kind of easy coloring. And then, uh-oh, I think I left something very important downstairs.
Do you want me to get it for you?
Yeah, I need a wink of Stella. All right, I have it done. So what I was going to do, shoot, just check. No, I don't have it. I was going to do a wink of Stella just on the wings, and my final version does have it, so I will apply that after, but apparently I don't have it up here. Okay, so I'll use, doesn't matter, I'll use this for later. I'm going to use this one for right now. Bring my card back. And so remember I said I had that spot? We're just going to cover that right over. I also already pre-did my word. So this is in that same stamp set. You're in my thoughts today. I will tell you, when you line up the die, I use this little one. It didn't, you'll find out if you use it, Anne. Like it didn't seem like it was straight. So I'm trying to make sure like the border is all the same and the sides and sides. So I think it's just the script. It's not like, it's a little wonky. So just know that. And so that's gonna go like that. I'm gonna try to cover up that smudge as much as I can. I like to use, when I have like a long piece and I want to, what I say, straddle the ribbon, I use these foam strips. It's a little easier than dimensionals. Just look at that. It's just a straight line and a straight line. So that's going to go like that. Before I put that on there, I pre-cut, and this is what I keep dropping.
Karen commented on your hummingbirds, how nice they were.
Oh, thank you, Karen. Karen, are your hummingbirds a different color or yours the same? Because you live kind of a distance from me. Oh, here it is. Sorry, I dropped two of the flowers. So this, I could just cut two different of the same color, but this die is also in the same die set. I did pre-color. They had this one, so I could go like that, but I kind of liked these better. So I'm just gonna glue a little piece of glue, glue that on top of it, kind of put one leaf on top of the other, like that.
Karen says in Iowa we have brown ones and some greenish,
Okay.
some greenish. I just, if I'm reading out the wrong thing for anyone, I just can't see the corner of my screen and it doesn't slide up until someone else leaves a comment. So I'm guessing what the word would be.
Yeah. Oh, I can read mine. And yes, that you did it right. All right. So now I'm going to take that off, put that down. And then I'm going to use dimensionals for my little bird. I should have worn my Life is Good hummingbird shirt, but I wore a snow shirt for Anne instead because she doesn't get snow and she's hot. And we're not that cold here. It was actually kind of a warm Christmas. It was like 50 degrees. I'm trying to cover that spot, but I'm trying to also center. That's okay. And then I have leftover, so you could kind of curl these, you could tie a bow, you could intertwine them around. My other one I'll show you was a little bit curlier. If I curl them around here.
Anyway, Becky says, awesome colouring on the hummingbird.
Oh, thank
I
you.
hope to find a nest sometime. I love hummingbirds and all birds. They are fun to watch.
My parents, they found a nest. It was like this big. It was tiny. It was really cool. All right, I'm just gonna cut those because I'll show you the other one. They're a little bit curlier. You could add more. All right. And then if these aren't curly enough, then you just go back and kind of round them out. But yeah, definitely I suppose if I got it wet, that would help a little bit. And then for the inside, now remember there'd be Wink of Stella there. For the inside, I already stamped and colored. This flower is also in that set. So I'm just gonna put it down. I could color all night long. I love it. So that's the inside. And the final part is, I have somewhere, here they are. I have 3 left. I love these. These are the brushed metallic, I don't know what they're called, gems or dots. So they do come in 2 sizes, but I just have 1 size left. So
how do you get to the end of an embellishment thing?
Look it, it's empty.
I know. How does that ever happen?
Well, it feels funny without the Wink of Stella. So here's the other one I did. And so see how this is a little curlier and then I looped it around. But I don't know if you can see the little shine on the, I don't know if you can see it or not, the shine on the wings. But so there you go. So yeah, so I crinkled it up just to make it a little bit more muted versus this is the, you see a difference?
I
You gotta
love it.
see a difference.
Now everybody's
Thank you.
loving it.
Yay.
And Nancy's telling me that she's actually held a hummingbird
Oh, that's awesome. They'll fly
in
right
a
by my.
rescue, not inappropriately.
Oh, right.
And Becky loves it. Sharon said she's done something similar, but she can't share it. I'd love a lesson in adding embellishments, Valerie, says Valerie. I'm probably the same. I don't ever finish, or very rarely ever finish, a packet of embellishments.
Well, I'm gonna be ordering more because I love these ones, the brushed metallics. Alrighty, so we good to go to you?
Yes, you can go to me.
Alrighty. And I will keep an eye on the comment. Oh, hi, Debbie. Debbie's here.
Adio. Hard to follow, Christine. But adio. My card is this card here. So I've
Ooh,
used it a little bit more traditionally, and I'll show you how I've got this finish. And I've just decorated on the inside very simply.
I love your
Now,
color
before
choices.
sorry?
I like your color choices.
Oh, thank
The
you.
blue, yeah.
Now, I just thought I'd show you, just because we're talking about the embossing folder. I'll just grab my navy. That's what vellum looks like when it goes through that embossing folder,
Mm-hmm.
which is pretty, but it probably isn't made for vellum. It is a little bit too deep, and the vellum is quite stiff. Possible, but not necessarily a great finish. Window sheets, which is a little hard to see, but they seem to lose a little bit of their depth over time. I just grabbed some leftover glimmer paper, and you can see that comes up really nice. And gold foil has, well, any foil has certainly has a wow
Mm.
effect. Anyway, so let's get started on the card.
That's
So the
funny you
first
did
thing I'm
that because
going to
I
do,
almost did the same thing to show.
no surprise there.
So I'm glad you did it.
Anyway, so this is Coastal Cabana. My card base is Night of Navy. It's 5.5 inches by 5.5 inches by 8.25. And just a reminder for those that haven't watched us before, our card size, we have A4 paper, not letter paper, and ours is a different size. Hence why mine is 8.25. But my sizes, what I give, will actually work with yours. You'll just have to cut 1/4 inch off if you're from the US. So this is my second. This is my second piece, which is basic white. I'll bring my card back. So it's this piece here. It's 5 1/8 inches by 3 3/4. And then this piece, as you see, is a lot bigger than what this ends up with. And I'll explain the why for that. So I'm going to grab my Layering Florals embossing folder. I'm going to get some of my Coastal Cabana, and I'm going to apply, and I will say, there's a label, so the Stampin' Up label is on here. I'm applying mine to the, now I'm confused
I
because
think
I've
you
got
aren't
two
you supposed to do
projects.
it? Oh,
I've swapped them, right out.
yeah.
So we're going to be using this side, I'm hoping.
The label side.
Yeah, we're going to be using the label side. On the second card that I'm going to show you really briefly, we're going to be using the non-label side. I think I don't know. Now, all I'm going to do, so I've opened my ink pad up, and I'm using this edge here. So not the edge with the, I suppose, the lip on it, because it's a little hard to apply. And I'm going to run it just gently. You don't want to press it in because this is the debossed side. So if you touch the flower, you're getting the deboss side, right? So it's an unusual, I think, embossing folder because some of the flower is debossed and some of the flower is embossed. So I'm going to just run this gently over here. I don't want to press too hard. You see, I've applied a little bit of colour. Now, as always, I go and apply more because, you know, we all know more is better if you're me. So that's not true, but it is for me. Okay, so you can see I've applied some colour. Now, do you want to raise the camera to me, Christine?
To your face?
Just to me, yep, to my face. So what I do, I've got the little spritzer and I've got the coloured. Oh, my light has just gone out. It's
I can
blowing.
still see you. I can still
Yeah.
see you.
Anyway, I just went, oh my goodness. Anyway, so I'm getting this. Now, why I'm doing it up here is one, I don't want it on my glass mat, which I could use, except I had all those measurements there. But more importantly is I only want a fine mist on this. And if I spray it like, it's going to be like a spray and it's going to ruin this. And it's going to put that colour where I don't want it. I just want a really fine spritz. So I'm going to spritz it away. So I just want it to land. You can just see it just nice and lightly on there. So it's only really fine droplets, except I did twice as much as I really should have done. But anyway, so back down. I'm not sure you can see it, but it's you can yeah, you can just see a few little spots on there. So I'm then going to grab this, which is my cardstock, which I've cut bigger because this embossing folder has some less detailed areas and I want to be able to move them around so I've got the best choice of picking where I want. So I then always place it on here because it's a little easier than placing it on here, because if you place it on this side and it moves, you've got a smudge mark. So there's a little plain patch here, so I want to drop it down. So I'm just going to go like that. Now, hopefully, whilst I bring, I'm just putting that out of the way whilst I bring my cut emboss. I'm going to trust Christine that she is right, that this is not going to move. I'm going to just have to stand up. And I have to find my plates somewhere. Oh, here they are. I am organised. So to put this embossing folder through, I'm going to need the platform. And look, there's two versions of this. One's grey, one's a purple. I'm not sure which is our latest. But then I'm putting this down, obviously after our discussion. Fold side in first. And now, as you all know, my arms are not the best. I know. I'm not going to put it through a second time. I'm just going to wind this out, get rid of it. No. So that's the back of it, but this is the side that I want. So see how it's applied the colour there? So that's the back and that's the front. Now, because I have my magic cloth here, so I don't create too big a mess and go all over my hands, which I have a history of, I'll just clean this up. I can clean it up a little better later. But it means you can use your embossing folder without taking it out and rinsing it under running water, which is how I normally clean it.
That's
So
how I
that's
wash
got it
mine
all
too.
off. So that's pretty easy. So I could use that again. Oh, there's a little thing over there. Get rid of that. I don't need it anymore. Throw this back in so it doesn't go all over my fingers. Get rid of that. So now we've got this here. Now it is a little damp because I applied the water, but that's okay. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just colour the edges. See how I've applied some additional colour around the edges, which makes it pop a little
There's
bit
so
more.
much depth in it.
Yeah. So we come back here. So I've just got a little blending brush. Now I'm going to grab some paper. Because now the glass mat would be perfect for this, except that I don't want to get any stuff. I don't want to have a dirty glass mat. I can clean it in between, but I sometimes forget. So for me, I always do circles on my blending. I start off the page and just go around. Start off the page. I don't want to go in too far. I'm just doing the edge. I'm only
I
going
love
in
what you're
half an
doing.
inch. Sorry?
I love what you're doing. I'm going to definitely duplicate this.
Makes it pop a little bit.
It really pops, yeah.
You can see they're basically the three techniques I'm showing are
Everyone is loving
easy.
it.
Let's just do a little bit more there. Seems to be a bit of a hole there. So because it's embossed, it pops up a little bit more. Now, if you're putting the embossing folder through, because it is through the cut and emboss machine, because it is so deep, it's probably our deepest one I think that we've ever had. A light spray sometimes can help it get more depth without ripping at all. Anyway, so now I've pulled out, I should have shown you this before, some of our white pigment ink, which I used to be called craft ink.
Yep.
And I've got one of our daubers, which is one of those hidden products, and we don't see as much as we used to, but it's actually on page 137 of my annual catalogue. I think it's the same in yours. And it's just these little daubers here. Now, they work, all our colouring stuff works differently, and some suit some projects better than others. And daubers on this works so much better than perhaps our blending brush. So all I'm going to be doing, now because this is a little wet, I'm going to pick up a bit of colour. So I'm kind of keeping it just to the corner. Normally I'd let this dry, but live we just don't have the capacity. So I'm making sure I've got lots of ink on this, not too much, just lots. And then I'm going to colour the flower to make it pop. And you can see it then pops off the page a little bit more.
I was wondering how you got it. I didn't know if you were going to use bleach and an aqua painter. This is so much easier. I love it.
All three kind of easy techniques.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like saying it yet because I haven't finished. No failure techniques. There's nothing complex about them. Now I'm choosing which ones I highlight, and you can you can choose which ones you like. Now, remember my piece of cardstock is too big, because when I cut mine down, it's going to be, the little strip I cut off, I don't know, I'll just do this piece here. And I want to do, there's some little leaves here. I like doing the little leaves. Some of them will disappear when I cut it down to size. Now, what I found is as the white ink dries, it soaks in a little bit. So I do go back over and apply it a second time. just to allow that
that's
to
a good
soak
tip.
in. Yeah.
So Sharon is saying, if you put your ink on the side of a block, you won't contaminate your ink pad. Then you can use the
If
craft
I
ink
put
from the
my ink,
block.
yeah. And that is a good tip. You can see the difference. See how this one's soaked
Yeah.
in? It's not as detailed.
I think the white ink is something that we tend to forget about.
We don't use enough.
No.
I know. So I'm leaving it at that. I don't, you know me.
That's
Got
like
to
me
do
with
that a little
coloring,
bit
if you want to
more.
go back.
Yeah, that's it, except for some more. Okay, so there we go. But I want it now cut to size, and my final size is 5 inches by 3 5/8. Now, remember mine is a little moist, so my tip here, just got a little scrap or something. My tip here is to make sure you've got a really sharp new blade in, otherwise it might rip a little bit.
Yeah.
But I've got confidence that this will go okay.
Well,
Now,
Valerie used her white today for snowflakes, and she hadn't used it in a long time.
now I just made a mistake. I did this in slightly different order, I think. But anyway, we'll see. I might have to just go back over the edge because remember I'm going to cut some off. So I must have gone over it a second time. I don't remember doing that. But I think I'll get rid of this piece here. I think that's my least favourite. Oh, it's hard. I know. So there's my piece that I can decorate the inside. This is my least favourite up here. So this comes back to 5 inches. So I do have to just colour those edges again. But I wanted this to have some depth anyway. So I'll bring back my ink pad. And just
Oh, Karen, I think she's answering your question right now by visually doing it.
Okay, would you cut your paper down, colour variant, cut down the colour? Yeah, I know. I did that in a different order than what I did when I originally made the card. It's easily fixed.
Yep.
I don't. You make so many cards, by the time you get back to do them, you can't necessarily remember the woo.
Nope. Trim
Got my
off a little
meshes
bit more.
message.
Just trim off an E.
We'll just trim that down. I just make sure this
That's
is
what
the
I
right.
do.
I've cut this wrong. That's what I've done wrong. Have I got any more here? Look, I've got just the right size piece
Perfect.
here. Just sitting looking for a home.
Sometimes I do that, and then you keep cutting down, and then it's too small.
Yeah. My earplug is falling out. Hopefully, I've got this right now. All right, I'm not cutting the magic bit. Oh,
There
look
you
at
go.
that perfect size. I don't know who spread that story that I cut that wrong. Now, there is a bit of a secret when you're attaching this embossing folder is to go right to the edge. Now, as most of you know, I may use a slight more ink than Christine.
You mean glue?
Yeah, true. Just a little bit more. But the liquid glue goes into the valleys of this.
Yeah.
But you do want to go right to the very edge.
Yep. I found that with mine too. You need, whenever you have a lot of texture, you have to use more adhesive because of all the bumps.
And then remember you're trying to keep all those bumps there. Some of that, so you can see it's still just a little wet. Then what I do is walk my fingers around the edge. to gently. Okay, so there we go. I should have, and I do, have a little congratulations here. Now I do like Christine's idea of using the foam adhesive strips. I don't have any on my desk. Now for something long and skinny like this, I use a fair few
I just ordered some of the mini dimensionals because I had been out of them for a while, but they're really handy.
I use them a fair bit, and they are truly the best value because you get so many.
You get
I
tons,
don't
yeah.
even know how many, but I'd say 1,000. I'm just plucking, not promising, but there's so many in a pack that it takes me forever to use a pack up.
I like your
So I'm gonna,
technique of using your take your pick tool to take off the backing. I always struggle with my fingernails.
I know, so I was going to say shove that down there, but of course that isn't the word that I would of course
Gently
use.
place.
Gently placed is what I would put in my tutorial. Okay, so I'm just scoring this at 4 1/8 inches. Now that doesn't always line it up perfectly, so I then just do this, but it gives a nicer crease if you score it by your paper trimmer first. Then going to add this on here.
Great colors.
Interesting because I wasn't sure what color to go with the Coastal Cabana, and I haven't been using Coastal Cabana the last couple of years. And I tried black thinking that was going to work. Nope, it doesn't at all.
No.
Oh, I could have popped that up with dimensionals. I did in the original. Then I have this is my insert, and I'll just add that in there.
Love that. Love that.
So it's a really simple way of using up all your. Oops, come on, glue. Oops.
Yeah, and it ties the inside right to the outside.
Now I'm not going to. I'll put this over here. I'm not going to add a sentiment on the inside of this card. Now I've got one other card that I'm going to show you, but I've done all the work on it.
So you left a tiny little strip of white on the bottom. I like that. I always made mine go straight to the bottom, but I like the little strip of white.
I very rarely ever not do it, but then last night I did this one and put it right on the bottom because it just worked a bit better.
Yep.
But I always leave a little strip because for me it just makes it pop.
It does.
Yep. So I haven't stuck this down. So this is the card. I'll show you.
Everyone is loving it, Anne.
So as you see, it was 3 simple techniques, all of which will work with that embossing folder.
Becky is asking, do you suggest always using liquid glue on 3D folder paper instead of the seal?
Yes,
I can give
would.
my answer, but I think
yes,
it's the
you
same
answer.
My answer is I use multi-purpose glue on everything. I don't really
That's
use
what
the
my
seal.
answer would have been.
However, if you want to use a seal, I would say use the Seal Plus because it's stronger than the regular seal.
On this embossing folder, there's some bits where there is so little to grab on. You need it quite strong. And our multi-purpose adhesive is really quite strong. Now, I've got one other project to show you. I'm not even going to show you the finish of it. Oops, my earplug keeps falling out. I
took a peek.
Anyway, because I've been playing around how to get the most out of this embossing folder, and this was my first attempt. So I put it on.
I like it.
On the. I can't find the embossing folder over here. So I did that side, Then this time I just put it on this side, and this is what you get. So you can see how it is completely different from that first one, and
Is
it
that
hasn't got a
just
lot of
one?
pattern.
Is it
Sorry,
one color? Is it just one color or is it
it
two?
is just one color. I use Misty Moonlight.
Okay.
Now, I didn't like it. I'm glad. So I kind of went, how do I?
It's an interesting pattern. I mean, I wouldn't,
Yeah.
I would use it as a background and put stuff on top of it.
Well, while we're talking about interesting patterns, I also use the embossing folder to do this card.
Hold it up closer to the camera, please. Oh,
Right.
okay.
So I
That's
also
cool.
only the embossing folder to put these colors on. So you can, there's so much you can do with it. But this one, I hated it, to be honest.
Hold
And I
it
went,
up closer, please.
oh, yeah.
There you go. Okay, just so everyone can see.
So it
There you go.
looks a little bit, I don't know what this finish is, but
It looks
we
like
get,
denim.
oh, it does actually.
Hmm.
But anyway, I wanted to save it. So I thought, what color goes with this? So I got some grey granite out. And remember,
Yeah.
I've just about thrown this in the bin, but I went,
Yeah.
I might just see what happens. Can I save it? So I just went like this.
Ooh.
Obviously, I haven't got a
And
lot of ink
everyone,
left.
you can do this technique with no pattern. You can just put this on
Yep.
plain old white paper.
I'm just pushing some of that ink back
Yeah.
down
Yeah.
because I've been using, I did that first one. There's not a lot of ink on this. Probably should have re-inked it, but I always worry about
Turn your paper
re-inking.
180 degrees because that might help you. Nope. One more time. Yep. Now do it. That way it's on the top. That's very cool.
Yeah. So now it's not as good as the first one. I didn't, probably should have re-inked that, but I'll show you what happened to that card. It disappeared.
You took it away from me.
I know, I hit it, chucked it. Oh, here it goes. So, as you see, I've pressed this one a little harder to fill it in.
Hold it
But,
closer up.
but that's
Oh, it's
how
beautiful.
it
Oh, I
turned
love
out.
that. I
So this
love
had a
it.
lot more ink on it,
Yeah.
but I didn't have to press as hard. This one I pressed actually into the grooves a bit. But you can see this is stunning. And I love this card. And you can see how simple it was. All I did was apply, and I didn't show you this. Where is my embossing folder? I've got stuff everywhere here. On this one, I just got the Misty Moonlight. I'll show you how I did this. On this, oh no, on the non-label side, and just went like this. This is a pretty juicy ink pad. And you can see not all the flour picks it up. I'm going to keep my fingers out of this. That's all I did. Then I added the white piece of cardstock there, put it through the cut and emboss machine, and off we went. So I love this card, and I just thought it's the absolute opposite of what I did on the first one, other than I didn't add any water. So my two cards today, we won't show this one, but even this is quite pretty. But this one's a lot cleaner because it had so much more ink on that edge. Yeah. So these are the two cards. So
gorgeous.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, here I'm gonna put us all four screens on here,
and I'm gonna sit down.
Yep.
Again.
That's what I was telling you.
Wait till I.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, so that's awesome. So it's funny how neither one of us actually individually, you can take the embossing folder and use the aqua water painters and individually paint each flower and then run it. Like, it's funny how we didn't do that because that's actually in the catalog. You'll see a sample of that when you get your
Oh,
catalog.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Where's that one I showed you? Can't find it.
And
No, I
I
can't find the
actually,
one with the abstract
oh, right.
finish on. Oh, here it
And
is. Yeah. That's what I actually did on this was actually fill all those little flowers with different colored
okay.
ink mixed with water.
Yeah, little puddles.
And then when I put it over, because there was a fair amount of water on it, it kind of went everywhere. And
Kind of
that's how it
cool.
finished up with
It's
that
like
really
a
nice
Jackson Pollock.
edge.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then I had said when we first started, or an hour plus ago, Anne and I tend to be, even though we live so far away from each other, we are so in sync that we just laugh at each other because we tend to, like, I'll do a live project and she's sleeping, and then she'll wake up, she's like, that's what I plan to do today, or vice versa. So we're constantly doing that. So it's funny. So both of us
I'm
came
going to
up with,
clean my mat while you chat.
okay,
My glass
both
mat.
both of us came
Done.
up with 2 projects. That's awesome, because we didn't know if we were going to duplicate each other. So I have another project, but I'm not doing it now. I'm going to do it my Tuesday live, and it's a much simpler, quick project, a little bit more like this one. I think is not exactly my style, a little bit, but not really, a little bit more layered. So the one I'm going to do on Tuesday at my live time will be a little bit more clean and simple, as we say, but using spritzers. So that's what I'm going to do. Awesome. So Debbie likes the cards. I know Karen's been saying she likes the cards. Nancy likes cards. Everyone likes cards. So that's awesome. So Anne, what are we going to do next month?
I've already forgotten. Oh, no, I haven't. It's been a long hour.
A long good hour.
A long good hour. So next month we're going to be, because as you know, we start celebration on the 4th of January. And for those that don't know what celebration is, during celebration, so 2 months of celebration, we actually, now the amounts will be different, but I'm just about living the States in my head. For every $50 in the United States that you spend during celebration, you can pick. Wait a minute, I'll just grab the
I have
catalog.
Catalog. Something from this catalog.
Anything from this catalog, and I can't show you what's in it, but it is.
But you can get some sneak peeks. You can kind of see what's in it on the top.
Yeah, well, that's
on
true.
The cover. And on the back.
It is full of fabulous things, and one of the freebies is this stamp set and matching dies. Now you actually, this is a $50 or $90, depending on where you are, you get free, and the dies you will need 180 or 100, depending on where you are. So we're going to use this stamp set and the dies, and we both agreed this is not our style of project, so it'll be interesting what we actually do with it. I've got an idea now. I've been looking at this.
How about I throw this out at you?
No.
Since to get both the stamp set and the dies is quite expensive, right? It'd have to be $150 US and whatever it was Australia. So how about we could just teach one, but we'll show 2 projects. One that only uses the stamp set, because that's a lower price threshold, and one that uses both.
I'm gasping. Thank you, Christine, for challenging me like that. I look forward to that challenge.
You're welcome, because I know how competitive
when we go
you are.
non-live, I will express my honest opinion. No, that's a good challenge for me, and I love challenges. I'm just kind of going, oh my goodness. I knew what I was going to do with the dies. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the stamp
I have
set.
no idea. We just picked this right before we came on live. I haven't even opened mine yet.
We will see. I look forward to it.
And it could be a card, it could be a 3D item, it could be whatever.
Oh,
It doesn't have to, it can be whatever. We're just going to use the projects. Thank you,
yeah.
Karen. She likes my idea.
Yeah, Karen. I can tell you live in the States.
Ah. So that will be fun.
Yeah, well, I so look forward to this. Is there any enthusiasm in that?
To me, it
I've
reminds
already
me
said
very
just the whole
Paula
bundle
likes
is a challenge, and now you've
Paula
added
likes
it
the
more, but
idea
that's
too.
okay. We can do this.
You have a whole month.
I can do
A whole
this.
month. Yeah. Yeah, I just
And the
figured
next
because it's
date.
expensive to get both. So
Yes, I agree. The thought process is right.
I'm sorry, I can't stop laughing.
Now, thank you, Paula, and you live in Australia. You should know better. But that's okay. I look forward to the challenge, even though I won't sleep for the next 28 days or 30 days.
Now,
28
I just
days.
had an idea in my head. So we can use other projects, other products as well. It doesn't have to be exclusively this
No,
stamp set and dies. We can use other things to go with it. How's that?
yes.
Okay.
It doesn't help me, but that's okay.
I'm just thinking the alphabet dies.
Oh, I love them, as you know. Ideo. So the next date, because it's 4 weeks. Oh no, we're not into February. We're still into January.
January.
Do you have
I
a
don't have a
date by some
nope.
chance?
Nope.
I don't
Oh,
either.
actually, hold on. I can look it up on my computer if you give me a second. It will be full. Oh, so here we have a choice. Because February 1st is a Thursday. So we can either do January 25th, which would be your January 26th, or we could do February 1st, which would be your February 2nd. Can we do
Well,
the January date?
I
I
like
have
the
it.
January date, even though it's a holiday in Australia. It's Australia Day.
Oh, the reason why, and
Oh,
I chose February 1st as a open house, virtual open house. That
the 25th.
surprise, the first February 1st, I'm going to do a virtual open house that everybody's invited to. So let's do the 25th, 26th,
Right now.
if that's
So be
okay.
my 26th at 10 a.m. So that'll
But
be
if that's
Australia Day.
so,
So I
if you
I
have
might have to
plans,
get dressed up in, I don't know, wear my thongs. Do you know what thongs are?
in the United States, they're really skinny
Oh,
underwear,
sorry, I forgot that part. Thongs
but they're
are
flip flops. Flip
things,
flops.
flip flops. Yes, they're what we call flip flops in Australia. So thinking the
I
bundle
would
with the
love to see
bird
you in your
might
thongs.
be a must buy. Sounds good.
If that date is a problem,
No, it'll be fine.
okay, because I don't want to interrupt any celebrations for you.
Oh well, celebrate. It's always something that you do. It's kind of picnics and barbecues
Kind of
and
like our 4th of July.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
but you wouldn't do
So
anything in the morning, anyways, right? It's more afternoon or evening.
luncheon, yeah,
Yeah.
lunch
Okay.
and dinner. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Let's see.
Nancy is thongs.
Yep. I'll have to send you a picture of thongs. Yeah. And you'll laugh.
Ideo. Thanks everybody.
All right. So yeah. So thank you, everyone. So we will see you all in a month. We each individually have lives. Mine are on Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Times, and Anne's are.
Wednesday night at 7 p.m.
So you all welcome to either of our lives, and they're right on the same channels that you're watching right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so did we have anything else? So celebrations next month, so that's exciting. Happy New Year to everybody.
Oh, yes. Happy New Year. And I hope you all had an amazing Christmas.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about Christmas, but we're already an hour and 15 minutes in. So.
Yes, I think it's time.
We really appreciate everybody watching the Anne and Christine show, as one of your people called it. Um, it makes it a lot of fun to have comments on here, and I mean, we could talk forever, but it's kind of nice to have you guys adding in your thoughts.
So thanks, everybody. See, I'm starting to count your
Okay,
peeps as my peeps now, Christine.
excellent. I'm glad you are. All right. So, oh, good. So for Glenda, we filled in an hour plus of travel time. Excellent.
Ideo. Thanks,
All right.
everybody.
Goodbye,
Bye for
everyone.
now.
Happy
See you
New
in a month.
Year. Okay.